Good morning and welcome to Rose Red Homestead, where today we're going to have some fun with some canned goods. We are going to make 7-can soup. And this was a new one on me. I just happened across it. Probably many of you already know about 7-can soup. But I thought we would try one today. This recipe that we're going to use, or I don't know if you actually call it a recipe, it's the choice of 7 cans, is from Pioneer Woman. And it's sort of Tex-Mex, and we're going to do it. And then I found another one over here, which we'll talk about after we get this one going. And then we're going to have a challenge. So let's see what this is going to look like. So I have my stainless steel 6-quart Dutch oven, it's called. And we're just going to start at the top right here with some Rotel, mild diced tomatoes and green chilies. And that one obviously is for the power punch of taste. This is some fresh cut whole kernel corn, and what we need to do is dump the whole can of all of these ingredients in, not draining them at all, but putting the whole thing, juice and everything. So I'm going to put this closer and actually get these out of the way so you can see. This one is pinto beans. Lots of good protein here. Beans are a power food, and we have a couple of cans of those. So here is the Rotel tomatoes and chilies going in. Here's some petite diced tomatoes going in. This is some chili, but no beans, because we are adding the beans in separate cans. So this also will be for flavor. Our pinto beans. And then here we have some black beans. And here some dark red kidney beans. So we are adding 3 cans of beans. In go the black beans. So there's our 7 cans. So let's stir this up and see what it's going to look like. Very lively color, some lively flavors in here. And everything is already pre-cooked and pre-seasoned. It looks somewhat like taco soup. All right, now what we are going to do is we're going to put this over here on the stove and let it simmer for 15 or 20 minutes. Now, while that is simmering, we're going to talk about these other things. So I'll be back once I get this on. This meal would be very quick and easy if you have the cans already on your food storage shelves. And some of these we do have. We have cans of corn, but I also have many of these ingredients in our food storage that are not in cans, and I wanted to kind of go through with you what I could do if I didn't have these cans, just based on what we have in our food storage. So first of all is Rotel. Now, some of you who have been with us for quite a while may remember that 2 or 3 years ago, we did some freeze drying of Rotel. And I've also canned a Rotel copycat version of this in pints. So I would not necessarily have to have Rotel in order to make this soup. But it's a good idea to think about different combinations that we could use using our food storage ingredients, and especially if we had these cans. Now these three are beans, black beans.
Pinto.
These are pinto, and these are kidney beans. I have all three of these beans, types of beans, canned in quarts and some in pints. So I could just go out to my shelf and grab a quart of one type of bean and a pint of another type of bean, and I could take care of these three things. Now, all of these cans were at least $1 a piece, pretty much. Some were a little bit less, some were a little bit more. So we're thinking that about what we have over there in the pot is at least $7 worth of food. Well, so far, I have saved a lot by doing my own canning, and it would the quarts of beans that I do and the home canned beans that I do are just pennies on the dollar. And so that would be a big savings there too. And they are just as available as these are in cans, because they are pressure canned and ready to use. So this one is petite diced tomatoes. This is the first year that we have done much with tomatoes. I'm not doing any canning of tomatoes, crushed tomatoes or diced tomatoes. So this is one thing that we have a lot of on our food storage shelves in cans, because I'll tell you, tomatoes are tough to grow around here. I am doing some of our tomatoes up in a pasta sauce this year, but I'm just doing small batches every 4 or 5 days when I get enough tomatoes. I don't have enough to do great big batches of things. And so for us, having cans of tomatoes is a given, and we have them in all different states. In puree, in whole, in stewed, in fire roasted, in these petite diced. So this is one that we pay money for. Now, in terms of the chili, and this is chili with no beans, I have done a video on chili without beans, and we have some in pints right out in my food storage. And so this also is pennies on the dollar because I have home canned it. Corn, we love corn. And I remember when I was still at home growing up, we often did canned corn, or I helped my aunt who was doing canned corn, and they had a whole field of corn, and so we would bring it in and cut it off the cob. It was miserable work, and so I will gladly pay for a can of corn. But our favorite way to preserve corn is by buying bulk packages of frozen corn, and we keep that in our meal sizes in our freezer. So I could simply go out to the freezer and get a packet or two of our corn and use for this canned corn. But it is fun to think about 7-can soup. But I also wanted to take that to the next level to show you that if you have done a really good job with your food storage, and if you are aimed in the direction of long-term food storage, then canning, having things in cans, is just one way that you have things on your food storage shelves. And there are other options that you may have out there that are less expensive than dumping cans in a pot. Although, for the ease of this is just wonderful. So I'm going to go ahead and toss all of these cans. So the other thing that will be going into this soup pot once the soup is nice and hot is some Velveeta. And we generally do not keep Velveeta on hand. And in our local store here, the one that's close to us, about 6 miles away, the only way they had Velveeta was in these little packages. So in these little individual slices that are wrapped, instead of the long box, the 16-ounce or the 8-ounce boxes. So this is what we'll be using, and we're just going to be dropping some of these slices into the soup to melt and stir it around. Now, we also have freeze-dried cheddar cheese that we could do the same thing with. If we were doing this just from what we have out on our food storage and not making a special trip to the store. So let's take a look at this other recipe. Now, I sadly forgot what the where I got this particular recipe, but it was online. There are dozens and dozens of recipes for 7-can soup. So this one calls for tomatoes. So you know our story on tomatoes. And on corn, you know our story on corn. We could do this from our food storage. This is mixed vegetables. I have a pint of home canned mixed vegetables. It looks just like this. So I could use this instead of this for this soup mixture. These are diced potatoes, and I have some canned potatoes out on our food storage shelf. It's a quart, so that's twice as much as this is, but I might just put a quart in because we love potatoes as well. And this is green beans. I have tons of pints of green beans. When I was doing my whole series on testing various canners, electric canners for pressure canning, I did a lot of pints of green beans, and we still have those. And then this is beef and vegetable soup, and I don't have anything like this out on our shelves. So if we were going to do this particular recipe, we might do this, but I might substitute other things that we have in our food storage. And then this is chili with beans. And so you can kind of see how the flavors would be different with this combination. Now with this, if I was doing this on my from food storage shelves, instead of buying these to show in a video, I would go out and get one of our pints of chili without beans, and then one of our pints of beans. It would be double this amount, but that might compensate for something else that I would substitute for. So while I think this is a fun idea, I think it is really a fun idea. And it is something that you could engage your children in doing as well. And everybody could go to the cupboard and pick a can of stuff that they liked, and then you could dump it in and make a 7-can soup that way if you wish. So it's a fun idea, it's quick and it's easy, but it is also a good idea to think about things in terms of what we can use with what we already have instead of making special trips to the grocery store. Now, Jim and I are embarking on kind of a new adventure for us. We're going to be starting to do some more off-grid cooking, and we'll be doing videos there. And as we are studying recipes and creating our own recipes, what we have realized is that we need to really beef up what we have out in our food storage area. And we need to get some more ingredients, and some of those ingredients are specific cans of certain ingredients. And you know, if I wanted to, if we were going to make this soup all the time, I could buy this case lot maybe, but several cans, and have on our food storage shelves. So it's just fine if you want to adopt canned goods for your food storage shelves. We certainly have I've joked about this with Jim a lot. He found a great buy on pumpkin, what, Jim, 2 years ago now, I guess it is.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
No, it's not 5 years, but it's a couple of years ago. He got them $1 a can for cans of pumpkin, and we still have about, I don't know, 15 or 20 cans of pumpkin out there that we are working on. So we also believe that having redundancy with what we have in our food storage is also a really great idea. And you just need to make it work for you. Whatever your family likes and is used to, that's what you want to store. And then if you want to experiment, we're experimenting all the time. And you see that in our videos. A lot of our videos are experimental recipes for us. And some we have adopted and are working them in, because I make them more frequently now that we have discovered and used them. But others I've rejected and we just don't use anymore. They're good. It just sometimes things don't fit our lifestyle. So let's take a look at our soup. So this soup blended together, I didn't have to cook it 15 or 20 minutes to let it blend. Everything is already cooked. They blended together almost instantly, but I have brought it to a boil and let it simmer for a few minutes. I've already dropped 4 of the slices of cheese in. These actually work fantastic. The recipe calls for 8 ounces of Velveeta cheese cubed, but these little slices, in fact, when Jim went to get the Velveeta, the guy that helped him locate these said that these melt a lot better than the block cheese does, which of course makes sense. More surface area.
And a lot thinner.
And a lot thinner. But I want you to see how quick these just... So this now makes 8 that we've put in here. Jim and I have each taken a quick taste of this, and we both think it needs a little bit of salt and maybe some taco seasoning. It's not quite taco soup, but I think it could benefit from some of the taco soup flavoring. Okay, so here we go with 4 more. Now, watch this. It's just really cool. So stirring these in, and they just melt immediately. So I think that we'll taste it with the cheese in here now and see if we still want to put in some taco seasoning. I see some of the cheese all mixed in right there. Ooh, it looks so good, so good. All right, I'm going to taste it. Well, it's very good. The cheese gives it a completely different taste. I'm not sure it needs any taco seasoning. I don't think it needs anything. A little salt is all. So when you make your 7-can soup, then some of the recipes that I looked at did have some spices that you can add. Others said the spices and the flavorings are already inside the cans, but you can doctor it up however you see fit. So anyway, this is going to be a great lunch for us today. And in fact, I think I'm going to put some more cheese in because you know I'm married to a cheese lover. And that wasn't anywhere near 8 ounces that we put in. The whole package of cheese is 12 ounces, so we need a few more to make it up to 8 ounces. This is probably closer to the 8 ounces called for in the recipe. Of course, the whole mixture is cooling down now.
May have to warm it up again.
I may have to warm it up a little bit, but I think it'll be fine. Oh, it's looking so much more creamy. Well, I think it's melting. Yep, it's melting. Ooh, yum. All right. So here's what I think we could do that might be just really fun. If you would like to put together 7 cans, any cans that you want to that you think would make a good soup, and try it out in your own kitchen and report back here. Just think of all the 7-can recipes that we would have. If everybody reports back on something that they have put together from either things in their food storage that they didn't have to run to the store for, or when you're in the grocery store picking up 7 cans of something, or letting your kids just go to the pantry and select whatever cans they would like. As long as you may not want them to put peaches or pineapple or something like that in with this.
Could be an interesting variation.
Might be. So let's have this be an accumulation of recipes for 7-can soups. So thanks so much for being with us. Have fun along with us, and we'll see you very soon for more videos.